Hello, everyone. Welcome to our June. Yeah, this is the book that we read for Pride. Hell yeah. We are here with Erica Peplin, who's the author of Work Nights. Erica, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Nina.
All right, so little introduction. Erica Peplin is a writer from Detroit, Michigan, now based in Brooklyn. Her short stories and essays have appeared in Joyland, The Millions, McSweeney's, The Village Voice, and more. From 2015 to 2016, she worked in the advertising department of the New York Times. Since then, she's worked as a shipping clerk, a high school custodian, and a restaurant server. And you can read her book, Work Nights, now. I'm like, where's my copy? Did I leave it upstairs? That would be so devastating. I'm gonna tell my partner to bring it down. Anyways, hi. Congratulations on your debut. Can you tell me a bit about the publishing process and what that was like for you?
Yeah, it's a long story because I'm a debut author, which is, I never thought I would be one. You just kind of write for a long time because you like it. And that's where I was at. I didn't even know what I was writing in my early 20s. I just was like, I like this feeling and I'm lonely. Like, but when I talk into my computer and tell stories, I feel better. So, like, literally, I just did it because it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun to like make up stories about life. And yeah, imagination really is a great escape. Okay, so I worked an office job out of college, right? Like many of us do. I used Excel. You
Ugh,
know,
I'm so
I
sorry.
I know. I had to get to know like how to email people professionally. Like they don't really teach you that in college. I didn't even get what CC was. I was like, I respond to how many people?
Yeah, we
I
don't we
was
don't have chat GPT back then. Like now people have it
no,
easy, which I condemn for the record. But no, no one tells you how to be a professional in college.
no idea. No, I think back and I'm like, I'm impressed by how much I was like having imposter syndrome. Like I had imposter syndrome, but I was like bold in the face of it. I was like, I'm an imposter and I'm also not going to ask questions about how to do things. So I was just like really struggling at my job. It was really hard and it didn't come naturally to me. I studied English literature.
Hmm.
So like I guess in my spare time and sometimes at the office when I wasn't doing anything, I would start to write stories. And I challenged myself like I don't know, like I there it is.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my love.
The great
Chocolate book pick
the
sticker
great
on it.
queer poet of America, Emily Dickinson, challenged herself. I heard, I think, that to write a poem a day, and I was like, I'll do that, but with a story. So I was writing like a story a day. And then, yeah, again, it takes a long time to like find your voice.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of writers in this room that are writing, and you are accomplishing something. You are working towards something. Even if it feels like you aren't, you are. Because everything you're writing now, you're getting closer and closer and closer to like what you were always meant to write.
Mhm.
Um, but you asked me about publishing, so we're
Yeah.
like years off from that. Because like truly, a lot of writing is just like being alone. Like I remember once I got like ditched at the last minute on a Friday night for a date, and after like the 25-year-old sob in your room, I was like, I guess I'll like write. I'll write about it. And I literally wrote about it that night and I felt better. So I did write for that, kind of like therapeutic reason. It helped. But then in terms of like crafting an actual novel, dang, that's hard.
Yeah.
Beware. Beware. It will drive you crazy. It is not for the faint of heart. The amount of times that I wanted to give up, that I thought, what is this? What even is this? Who would read this? Like you can't get I would like you can't think about those big questions when you're just working on a book. You just have to trust the characters. And so like Work Nights is a book with a lot of characters. There's office workers, there's the protagonist's friends, there's her family, and then there's her two love interests. And I think if I write a book again, which I am working on, there's less characters. But Work Nights is fun because it feels like a movie. And I tried to write it like a movie too, where you're just like dropped right in. Everything's quite visual. Um, and ultimately I stuck with it because it made me laugh. And I heard the voices of people I knew in the book, like friends and former coworkers, and they would make me laugh. I felt like I was making an ode to like people I've known in my 20s. So I
Mhm.
stuck with it because I was like, I believe these people matter and I believe they have something to say and I believe their stories matter. And then the publishing process just takes a lot of magic and luck and perseverance because I
Mm.
met my agent by chance. She was someone that had edited a story of mine at a journal that a journal that published me. She was the editor at this journal. And like just getting published by a journal is so hard. I probably easily have over 100 rejections from literary journals. But yeah, my agent edited a story of mine and told me if you ever have a novel, feel free to send it to me. And it was just like a light bulb moment. I was like, well, now I have someone to send this book to. And lo and behold, she did end up representing it.
Yeah.
We edited the book together over the course of no, like 3.5 years, 4 years, like during the
Wow.
pandemic. And this novel is partially set in an office. And I remember when the pandemic started, I was like, well, there goes my novel. Like no one offices are obsolete now and no one's going to want to read an office novel, but like you just keep waiting, you keep working on it. And she did sell it. So that is like an agent's job. They
Yeah.
go around to publishers, they're kind of your cheerleader and they try to sell it. And Nina, the truth is my book was rejected by everyone. Because debuts are freaking hard. No one knows you.
Are.
I'm not famous on Instagram. Like I'm just a normal person working a normal like part-time job in Brooklyn, like in a
Yeah.
restaurant. Like no one wanted my book and I fully was like I guess that's over. I guess I'll just keep writing in obscurity. And it was really hard. It really was. And then it turns out that someone at a publisher at Gallery Books that did publish me, her name's Frankie. She's incredible. She did like my book. She just felt like she was still too new to the company to uh to vouch for it.
Yeah.
So a little time goes by. I think it was probably 6 months where I thought my book was dead. I get an email that's like, you know what? My agent's like, oh, they actually are interested and they want to have a call with you. So then I'm like on cloud nine and I have this phone call with Frankie. We hit it off and like connecting with an editor like that. And she's young. She's actually younger than me. She's a few years younger than me. And but she just got the book. She was like, this will connect with people. People are gonna like this book. And I was like, thank you. I agree. And so like that's why publishing it takes magic. It takes just like one agent to believe in you, and then a lot of rejections, and then one editor to believe in you, and then it's a book. So that's the journey. It's long.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
so Lady Gaga. All it takes is one person in a room of a
I know I
hundred
think
to
about
believe
her
in
every
you.
time I say that. But I think she's
Amazing.
right.
I mean, so you talked a little bit about office culture and that, and it's pretty clear to me, knowing you and knowing that you worked for the New York Times, that this is kind of based on a New York Times ad office. At least I'm, inferring that.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
I'm not denying that at all. Yes.
Can you, so tell us about the inspiration of this book, how this came to be, like what made you want to write about an office job that you hated?
Oh my God, you should write about what makes you feel strongly.
Mm,
So, um, I would have moments at my office job that just made my blood boil. Whether I was frustrated, I felt like a failure, or I was like really annoyed by someone around me, or I just felt really misunderstood. I would like just make a small note and get it out.
yeah.
It was like just getting something out. And
Mm,
then I did that quite often. So the book was not written at my job. I wasn't writing the book while I was at my job. It took a year and a half after I quit my job or so to actually write the book, but I did have all those notes that I had taken of those moments when I felt strongly. And I do think a book is made of strong feelings.
yeah, 100%. And our main character, Jane, girly pop, I'm
Mhm.
so obsessed with her and relate to her so much because I am an ex-corporate girly. I mean, one of the most common job interview questions is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what's your dream job? And I always wanted to say, I do not dream of labor, but I could never say that. And that theme that runs through the book is this quote really got me. A demanding office job was a sort of salvation, saving us from having to actually ask ourselves what our efforts might really mean. And I was personally in college during like peak girl boss era. Like I literally went to Sophia Amoruso's girl boss book signing at the Barnes and Noble in Union Square.
Whoa.
And I feel like in today's world, like the girl boss is having a kind of weird trad wife resurgence with like the 5 to 9 clean girl TikTok routine and like the cut West Village Carrie Bradshaw wannabes. Like having that kind of corporate job is, I hate to say it, trendy on the internet right now, in my opinion. All this to say, I see this desire to romanticize office culture post-COVID as kind of a way of diluted self-soothing.
Mhm.
And I guess in all of that, my question is like, what would Jane think of like girl boss culture? And how does Jane relate to the word girl boss?
It's a great question. She works with some nascent girl bosses. They're called the Stepford Planners, and they like genuinely throw themselves at their job, and they're actually really good at it. And they're beautiful. Like they have their nails done, their hair done. You know, it's like it's as if their femininity coincides with the fervor and devotion they bring to their office job, the way a housewife would maybe some idealized housewife would bring to housewife duties. So there was a feminine aspect of the work Jane is doing in the office that she feels unsuited for because she just questions everything. She's just like, I don't just want to do what someone tells me to do. Um, and I do hope that like yeah, like I think Jane is, I'm trying to have her exist so that she can critique office culture, but also respect the people who are nevertheless doing it
Yeah.
and finding reasons as to why they might want to do it. And I think there's also moments in the book where Jane is genuinely jealous of those people. She's like, why can't I just be normal
Yeah.
and like send emails and get a happy hour drink and go home and be content? Like, why is that not enough for me? So I really tried to like come at the problem from all angles because I do think work, labor, it's a problem. It's hard. We work too much in this society too, Monday through Friday. The hours that
Oh,
people work, it's not right.
no,
Not. I'm so anti 5 day work week.
same. Yeah, no, we need to
People
be
need,
like the
yeah,
Europeans. Like we
yes,
need to have like a 4 month vacation.
absolutely. A
Yeah.
summer break and easily a 4 day work week, which is so possible considering technology.
Oh,
Like
100%.
everyone needs to relax and remember that like what matters in life is not your bottom line paycheck or like how well you serve some like corporate entity. It's meaningful time spent with family and friends.
No,
Yeah.
the fact that always gets me is medieval peasants got like 6 months off out of the year because the monarchy was like they'll uprise if we overwork them too much. So and they had like tons of vacations and like didn't work all day. And I'm just like, I work more than a medieval peasant. What
And
the fuck?
it's our culture. We're taught that that's right and that's normal and that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like so much of the book is, Jane, like if so many people around her find their identity through work and what they do for a job, and she doesn't resonate with that,
Mhm.
it's like leaving her a bit like unmoored. And I mean, obviously, the best part of her job is Madeline. Do you
Yes.
pronounce it Madeline or Madeline?
I go either. I guess Madeline.
Okay. So she's like torn between these two girls in the book. And
Mhm.
spoiler alert for those who haven't read it, cover your ears, totally implodes in her face.
Yes.
Like she has this kind of inability to make a choice between the two, which is coupled with her lack of transparency between the both of them. Madeline is this seemingly straight, that girl's not straight whatsoever. Office intern, she like relishes in Jane's obsession over her. And then Addie is this assertive, quirky musician challenging Jane at every turn and like is very clear with what she wants. They could not be more different. So what do you think draws Jane to each of them and what makes her so unable to make a choice?
It's so easy to have an office crush because it does make going to work easier. So there's the element of that sometimes out of our own necessity, we can find someone to be an object of our affection and we can obsess over them instead of thinking too much about ourselves. So I think I'm trying to show how it's both an outlet for just her own unhappiness with these reasons, but
Mm.
then also Madeline is hot, you know, like she
So
wears mini
hot.
skirts and she's like kind of, she's like a cool Bushwick
She's
girly.
the office siren.
Yes, total office siren. Unfortunately, is an intern who is not going to stay too long. But yeah, I loved having like a hot bi girl essentially in the book. It was fun.
Yeah.
I've known so many in my real life too, so it was fun to channel lots of old crushes and kind of like
Yeah.
mold them into this one.
I love that.
Yeah. Um
So
and she
what
yeah.
draws them? What draws Jane besides like Madeline being a hot bisexual, which
Yes.
I
So
love.
hotness,
Yeah.
she's also the thing about girls, they are so witty. Like girls are so smart, all of them. Like and she's clever. And I really enjoyed writing the back and forth that she and Jane would have at like bars and parties. And maybe even at the office. It made me laugh. It was like you can hear Jane trying so hard to be like clever and charming and make jokes. And it was fun to like have Jane do that because there's so many other instances in the book where she's more laid back. She's witnessing life. But then in her love life, you see her taking more control and
Yeah.
um, having fun chasing after someone, even though it causes her lots of heartache. So I loved the Madeline scenes. I think I even had to cut some out because I had too many.
Oh my God, I think maybe you should post them somewhere so I can read them.
Oh,
So what about Addie?
okay. Addie's really fun to talk about too because it's really fun
Yeah.
to have a protagonist be drawn to two different people for different reasons. So Addie is the classic, dependable, nurturing, queer lesbian who's been out since high school, who knows herself, who makes her bed every morning, who is here to nurture. You know, she's kind of she's really a nurturer. So she was a lovely character to write. In that sense, because it was nice to see Jane getting some like affection from someone because Madeline is really flaky. Like Madeline hurts Jane, so I wanted Jane to be with someone who's much kinder to her. And Addie is that, but Addie is also like the flip side of a nurturing person can be a little bit of like there's a little bit of controllingness
Mhm.
to that person. And I feel like that doesn't I don't know. I don't read that. I don't read that character too much in literature. I guess it's around. I could look for it, but I really wanted to show that she is also flawed because she is very demanding of Jane, and Jane's more laid back. Hey, we're 26. What's the rush? Like, why do? It's okay if I waited so long to text you back, but Addie's more exacting, so she's not perfect either. Neither of the women are perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And you definitely, I mean, for me, I saw Addie as like such anxious attachment, and then
Mm,
Madeline was just such avoidant.
mm,
And the way
wow.
that, I mean, I feel like Madeline, like Jane would mirror the attachment style of those two women. So like she was so anxious with Madeline and so
Mm,
avoidant with Addie.
mm,
Um, because I feel like she just like wants the chase, like at the end of the day. Like she loves like the whole process of it, of like I don't even know how to describe it, but I it all I feel like resonated in her like inability to commit and like
yeah.
choice, which I mean, as a reader, like I know like you must have heard people be like, she's so unlikable, like,
Mm,
a unreliable narrator, like that kind of like classic mentally ill lit fic girl.
mhm.
How do you feel with work nights, how it kind of fits into this larger canon of like the unlikable main character? I loved Jane for the record, but
Yeah, I
it's
love Jane too. And if people call her unlikable, I'm all for it. I really wanted to write an anti-hero in Jane, and I think I've already my next book is a follow-up set 5 years later, and to be honest, she gets way worse. She gets way worse because I think it was my debut. I'm like, I want her to be likable. Like she does bad things, but she's still nice in the end. And like I actually by the end of Work Nights, I love Work Nights. It's perfect, but I do think there's so much to be said for like someone who really messes up because it's fun to read a book in which you both identify with the protagonist, but then you also get to judge them and say, I would never do that, or I would never do that, or how could they do that? Because I think protagonists are supposed to live out lives that we don't. So like they go too far. That's why Jane, she's a lot like me, but she also goes too far. And that's what a good character has to do. They have to like, you have to turn it up a notch and have them make mistakes that you avoided. And that said, I love what you said about attachment style and how the book is kind of a case study and like Jane's attachment style gone completely wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I'm so excited about this 5 years later one. And
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
love hearing that she gets way worse because I was actually talking about this on a podcast the other day, this idea that like queer characters have to be morally upstanding and make all the correct choices because we need good representation and queerness is not a monolith. Shitty fucking queer people exist. Like I've met several of them. And I love the mess. I love
Yeah,
the like stickiness
me
because
too.
it's so realistic. And I mean, one person that I was so obsessed with who was messy and sticky all the way through is Laurel.
Mhm.
Like the most realistic, hilarious Bushwick artist roommate.
Absolutely.
So obsessed with her. I feel like she's kind of Jane's true love at the end of the day. I thought the
Yeah,
ending was so sweet where she was like, "Well, you want to be a garbage man, we can be garbage together."
yeah.
I thought that was so like platonic soulmate
Hmm.
material. And I can you just speak to their relationship a little bit and that character construction?
Yeah, well, if Jane works in an office and feels constricted by her job, Laurel is her roommate and her friend, who is so cool. She's kind of the friend who's a little cooler than you. So you're like she's like if there's a little like Jane's her little sister, but they're not. But Laurel's like an artist and she's a mess. Like her room's a mess. She's always painting, she's always rolling joints, eating junk food in the middle of the night. She has one night stands. Like she just represents a lot of things that I think Jane wishes she could do or embody. So it was really fun, and Laurel also calls Jane out on all of her BS.
Mm.
Like and that's really fun to write. It's fun to write a protagonist that's not just trapped in their own head and I'm alone in my room thinking about stuff. It's fun to have that person open the door and be confronted with a friend who's like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, break up with that girl." Like it's just so fun to have that friend. And that's definitely from real life. I feel like that is how friends talk to each other. At least
Yeah.
that's how friends I like are. Like, I like it when my friends like bully me a little, where they're like, "What are you doing?" Like, don't do that. Don't what are you wearing? Like I just think that's funny.
No, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
if everyone is a yes person to you, there's no growth there. Like
Yeah.
relationships should, I feel like, challenge you and help you grow. And
Yes.
I mean, if a friend is constantly just like okaying you and like not saying how they're actually feeling about, how you show up in the world and how you show up in the friendship, like, and how you show up for yourself, then what the fuck
Yeah.
is the friendship for?
Totally. And
Yeah.
I also think Laurel, it was useful to have her be an artist because she was able, when I got frustrated with the book, I sometimes put my voice inside her.
Mm,
She's complaining about art. Nobody buys art anymore. What is this even? Why am I even still doing this? Like,
yeah.
she believes in herself and she can't stop making art, but then she does have these moments of wanting to give everything up and feeling like, what's the point? And I could definitely relate to Laurel in those moments as the writer of the book, writing this book. Because I was questioning art, like in the right way to live and how to work and make money, especially in a place like New York City.
Yeah, no, grass is always greener. And,
Mhm.
while Jane, I'm sure, envies Laurel in some ways, Laurel definitely envies Jane because there's the trade-off with both. It's like, okay, stability, but you sell your soul.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, creativity, but maybe lack of stability if you're not like a Nepo baby.
totally.
Um, so this book really bounces back and forth between the social dynamics of the office, and then there's the Bushwick queers. And reading it, I saw that Jane kind of molds herself to perform in each one of these groups. And I felt as though she didn't feel like understood or like fully authentic in either one. And then we see her in her childhood bedroom. And her mom is inundating her with baby photos when she finds out Jane is like diverting from the path that she kind of imagined for her.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering, like, where do you think Jane feels most herself? Because, there is a level of performance that
Mhm.
you put on in friend groups and that you put on at the office, and that you put on dates and that you put on with your family. So, like, which mask do you think is most Jane and where she wants to be?
Yeah. I've been told it's the most Gemini book people have ever read. Which makes sense because
That
it came out
is
June
so
17th.
true.
It's literally a Gemini. Jane is such a Gemini. She has so many types. She
Yeah.
switches how she is between, I mean, she literally switches clothes, but when she comes home from work, there's also the necessary peeling off the
Mm.
work costume, putting on the Bushwick costume. And I think there is no, I don't know if there's a real Jane. I don't think she's there yet. She hasn't like earned that yet.
Yeah.
She's still getting there.
Yeah, her prefrontal lobe is like just barely developed. To be fair. I have to talk to you about the character of Ellie. And I
Yeah.
texted you about this because I was
Yes,
like,
you did.
I love Ellie so much.
Yeah, me too.
The ex hyper-focused corporate girly with religious trauma. I mean, that is me. And I texted you like a photo of this line. She carried herself with the unconditional niceness of someone who was raised religious and the secret, oh wait, shit, was that a typo? Where'd it go? It was, yeah,
Secret meanness
secret meanness of every nerd with pent-up
of
rage.
every nerd with pent-up rage. Yeah.
And I felt so deeply targeted by that line because I I went to church 3 times a week. I went on 2 mission trips. I had a purity necklace. I was like, full on church girl until I was like literally in college. And then I have such deep, deep feminine rage inside of me
Mm,
that when it's out, it's scary. So just like tell me about Ellie. Tell me more about her because she was so funny and I
yeah,
felt her anxiety just like jumping off the page too.
yeah.
And she wanted so bad to be good at her job and be recognized. And
Mhm.
oh, I just wish the best for her.
I love Ellie. I love that you loved her. I love that you texted me that. Um, she sits next to Jane at the office, and they are great foils for each other because Jane is more accepted by the pretty girls because she's just kind of relaxed. Like Jane is ultimately pretty relaxed and chill. So
Mhm.
that's kind of her appeal in the office. It's like, well, she's kind of chill. Like she can sit with us. Yeah. Um, Ellie has no chill.
Ellie
You
needs
know,
this.
she's so like everything is organized, the color-coded folders, and she's always got her little like oatmeal with chia seeds, and it's a type, and I respect that type, but I also can see how in like a big social setting that person can be made fun of. That person can be like, oh my God, such little Miss Perfect, and that's why the meanness builds, right? Because if
Yeah.
you're underestimated, you're undervalued, and people are maybe making fun of you behind your back, of course you're going to be secretly mean.
Yeah, no, my
um,
superlative in high school, I did get best dressed, but I also got biggest overachiever,
oh wow.
which I was like, okay, dig, God. But thank you for saying that I dress well. And that's because I was a overachiever. I had to dress well every single day.
I think you won, like your achievements.
Oh
I'm a huge
no.
fan of yours.
Oh, I feel no shame for
Yeah,
I mean, I feel a little bit of shame for how I acted in high school. I feel like everyone does. That's,
well,
healthy.
it's high school. Yeah,
Yeah, it's high school. Okay, but we spoke a little bit about the ending already. I just
yeah.
kind of want to dive into it a bit more. It's really open-ended, and we don't really know what Jane's next steps are. And why did you make that choice to kind of leave it not tied up with a pretty bow,
Mhm,
which I loved?
mhm.
And you're writing a book that's, 5 years in the future with Jane.
Yeah,
What do you imagine happens to Jane and those relationships, like with Addie and with Madeline and, her
I
friend?
know.
Like
I don't
what
want to.
what
I
what do
don't
you
want to say. I can't
I
say. I
know.
know, but I don't want to reveal it. But
Fine.
I do like that. I don't know. Do you ever read a book where you get towards the end and you kind of feel it coming and
Mm-hmm.
you're waiting for it, but you
Mm-hmm.
peter out? Like something about my soul, even if I love the whole book, sometimes endings are so hard
Yeah.
because you can kind of feel the author like trying to end and then like solving one little drama and cutting to this scene and there was actually more to the book. There were at least maybe a few more scenes. And then my agent, she's so good. She's the one who said, you know what? This is a good ending. Like, you should just end it here. And I was like, duh.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, editor. That's why we need editors. Sometimes they say the obvious thing
Yeah.
because I think it's the perfect ending.
Love. And then you don't have to like line edit like three more chapters. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, less work for me.
Yeah. Great. Delete. Yeah. It's done now. We're done.
But,
Yeah.
is there a reaction from a reader that has stood out to you?
I've had really only great reactions. I've like,
Yay!
yeah, it's been really surreal. Like I didn't even know this many people would read the book. I thought, yeah, like, 50 people will read it and let me know what they think maybe in the first few weeks. No, it's like tons of people from my high school that I went to high school with are reading it, taking pictures of it by our local swimming pool back in Michigan. I'm like, whoa, like Carlos from Seventh Hour is reading my book? Like, oh, and my
So
old
cute.
classmates who like have a baby, like suddenly they're reading the book. Like, that's so fun and meaningful to think
Oh,
that life is a circle. So like those people, and then all just so many people are here to support it. I'm really blown away. And then I did get one reaction. My brother is a computer engineer. He's 3 years older than me. He's 37. I think he has a wife and a kid and a house. So he's like the sibling that did the normal thing and
yeah, that's
became
my brother.
successful. And
Yeah.
he's the best. He helps me with my taxes. He's like the best older brother in the world.
Yeah.
And he is a computer engineer, though. So his brain works very differently from mine. He's very pragmatic and he works in computer engineering. And he said the day the book came out, he goes, my cis male computer engineer coworker just bought your book. And I was like, fantastic. I think men like it. And then like literally 30 hours later, I get the review from the engineer. It's bulleted. It's like all his favorite moments bulleted, and then
So
pictures of
sweet.
pages that he liked. And it was like the most office like outline of like a book review, but I loved it. I love
He
that
did
this man.
everything except an Excel sheet for you. That
Yes,
is
exactly.
so incredible. Like,
Yeah,
we need more men like that in this
we do.
world. That's
Yes.
so sweet. What is next? Tell us what you're working on. Just anything you can share about your next project. I would love to
Yes.
hear anything.
I would love to talk about it because I'm so excited about it. It's like Jane is in it. I'll say that. And I'll say Laurel is in it.
Mhm.
And Addie's in it. So and the book is set 5 years later in Brooklyn and it is called Cheating.
Cheating.
Hmm.
Alrighty. Well, I wait anxiously. Okay, we're
Yes.
going to enter the rapid fire round. For
Yay.
those of you listening in on the call, if you have any questions for Erica, drop them in the chat. We will ask at the end. Alrighty, here we go. Are you ready? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, me, yeah.
What are you currently reading?
I am currently reading The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot because my book came out and I missed reading because there's no time to read when your book's coming out, like in the few weeks leading up to it. And now I just get to wake up and escape into rural England where Maggie Tulliver is reading so many books. And I just love her mind and her imagination and her big crazy hair. Like the hair in the book is like central to her character. They're always talking about her hair.
I
She has
love
big
that.
hair.
I've never heard of this book.
Yes, it's George Eliot's first book and it's fun to read knowing it's her first book because I've read Middlemarch, which is such like her magnum
Yeah.
opus. So it's kind of nice to go back in time and read this story that is frankly simpler. Like there's not as many characters and it's just like a family drama.
Yeah.
And there's two male suitors that are also in the book, which I love. So like obviously I wrote a book about a love triangle and now I'm reading another one about a love triangle because we
Amazing.
love this.
Yep.
But I really like this book.
I'm a
So
huge fan.
yes.
Anything like The Queer Ultimatum is out. I don't know if you've watched the episodes. Have you seen the episodes?
No, not yet.
Oh my
I
God.
don't have time, Nina.
No, you
I was
have
at
to
Bike
watch
March
it.
yesterday.
No, you have to watch it. It's so fucking insane.
I'll
And
definitely watch it.
I feel like Jane would be served an ultimatum.
Yes,
Like I feel like Addie and Jane, like in 5 years,
totally.
would be on the queer ultimatum.
Yes.
Anywho, what's a book that you recommend everyone to read?
A book that I recommend. I have read well, your favorite book, one of mine too, that I finally read this year was Detransition Baby. I loved that book very
Yeah,
much.
so
Yeah.
good.
And then, um, yeah, I'll just recommend that. I read that this year. It was awesome.
Love. What is a book coming out soon that you're excited to read?
I did a few events with this person. His name's Rob Franklin, but he wrote a book called Great Black Hope. And I love Rob. He comes right up to me so kind and genuine. And I was like shy and trembling. It was my first event. And he's like wearing these glasses, like, hello, how are you? Are you an author? And I was like, oh my God, I feel so calm. So like I have not read this book, but I cannot wait to read it. I
I,
think it's great.
I love
It's
that.
about a gay black man in New York City, like facing like some like drug addiction and race in the Hamptons, and it's just like it just sounds so good. I can't wait.
That's awesome. If you could cast Work Nights as a show or a movie, who would
Mm.
play Jane, Madeline, and Addie?
Oh my gosh. I have thought about this, and every time I tell people, they laugh in my face.
They
They
tell
laugh
us.
in my face. But I want, actually, I don't know how old she is now, but I really want Jane to be Zendaya. See, people laugh. People laugh at that. But when she was on Euphoria season one, wearing those baggy shorts, biking in her bike, I was like, that's a tomboy.
Yeah.
That is a tall, kind of like gangly baby dyke.
No, I see it. I see it
Yes.
entirely, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, what about
The,
Madeline and
the
Addie?
yeah, I don't know. Like, uh, I think Madeline would be Jenna Ortega.
With micro bangs.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because Madeline channels Wednesday Adams a lot, I think, like with
Oh
the
yeah.
outfits.
I
But she
mean with
was
the
kind of
little
schoolgirl. Yeah,
like ruffly socks and like
exactly.
Mary Janes and mini skirts. It's so
Yes.
Adams.
In fact, I think I wrote Jenna Ortega as a person, like before she was famous. Because I was working on work nights before she got famous. Like I think I
You
conjured her.
no, you manifested her
I
100%.
manifested her for this role. I don't know who Addie is. I actually haven't thought about that one.
For me, I see Addie as like Sadie Sink personally.
Oh, cool.
Because I saw on Broadway John Proctor as the villain, and I don't know, just her energy of that character, I also feel like is Baby Dyke, and like just very like straight shooter, like tell it like it is, like
Hmm.
assertive.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. I see it. I also feel like she could play like crazy. Like
Yeah.
she could do a crash out so
She
easy,
could yeah, she could have some rage, some pent up rage, like an Ellie.
like in Ellie. Do you have, if you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? And it can also be a dinner party. So if you
Oh
want
my
multiple
God.
people to be in conversation with one
We
another.
always we always want Fran Lebowitz around. Always.
Hmm?
We want Fran Lebowitz. She's got to be there. I mean,
So
I've
correct.
literally seen her on the street and said hi to her, so it's not impossible. I went to a WNBA game once at Barclays where she was there. You know, she's in the orbit. She's
Yeah,
charming. She won't overstay her welcome. She knew Toni Morrison. So maybe we should get Toni Morrison back as well and
oh,
have those
100%.
these
Yeah, those
friends.
two can chit
Those
chat.
two can reunite at the dinner.
I love that. And then,
Yes.
I mean, I could just listen to that conversation all night. Fran is so fucking funny.
She's
I
so
love
funny.
her.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite class that you took at school?
Yeah, I love existentialism. I took two classes in existentialism. Like I did one and then like another professor was teaching the same class. I was like, I'm gonna try with
You
him.
can tell. You can
Yeah.
tell that you took
Yeah,
classes on existentialism with this.
yes. Totally, you can. It's a very existentialist novel. Not to sound like a snob, but I love Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, Camus,
Yeah.
um, people who sat in cafes and were just like, okay, we're not really going to talk about metaphysics. We're just going to be like, how do you live? How
Yeah.
does this work?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. We're all apes on a floating rock. What's the point?
Hmm.
Yeah. Love that. Favorite queer movie or TV show?
Queer TV shows would be, um, I mean, I always say the L word turned me gay because I accidentally like stumbled upon it when I was 17 and I had
How was that an accident?
okay, this is this is a deep cut, but every Thanksgiving Showtime would do the free preview. Like we did not pay for Showtime,
Yeah.
but every Thanksgiving or something, like they would do this like one weekend where like we're gonna give you a glimpse of Showtime, and if you like it, you should
Right.
subscribe. So like I was just channel flipping, and I was like, oh Showtime, oh the L word, and Pam Grier's in it. And
Yeah.
I was such a film nerd in high school. I was just really into blaxploitation films like Coffee. And so I was like, oh, Pam Grier's in this. Okay, it must be like some blaxploitation thing or like, what is this? And like, it wasn't. It was the L word. But I was like from a suburb where I didn't know any gay people. And so I also thought all lesbians were like security guards and like lumberjacks. I was so ignorant. I was so ignorant. I didn't know they could be hot.
Yeah,
So when I
then
see
you see like a
Jennifer
femme
Beals,
lesbian and you're like, holy fuck.
yeah, I saw Jennifer Beals like at a cafe in LA, and I was like, I need to move to LA.
Yeah.
Is that where they are? I think I should go there.
Did you ever live in LA?
No, I
No.
wanted to for a long time though, because I just because of the L word, I think. I wanted a muscle car and I wanted to live in LA.
I see that for you.
Yes. That
Um,
path was not taken, Nina.
no, no, I'm glad it wasn't. Otherwise, we wouldn't have work nights and we would
No.
be friends. So, ta-da.
Mhm.
Favorite queer influencer or celebrity to follow on social media?
Okay, well, you, hands down, you.
Besides me.
Because you have political content, food content, personal content. I don't follow that many influencers, but I like genuinely really like what you post.
Thanks. That's really nice.
Yeah, really enjoy it.
What about celebrity? Do you have like a favorite queer celebrity that you're like obsessed with?
Yes, I am obsessed with Kate Berlant.
Yeah.
I saw her show a few weeks ago with my friend Meg, uh, at the Bell House, and it hurt me. My body was like experiencing what felt like a heart attack. I was laughing so hard.
I love that.
It was the kind of show where you don't laugh, you just open your mouth and clutch the person you're with.
Yeah, yeah.
Clutch, like
That's how
clutching
I
for
feel
dear life.
about Oh Mary. Have you seen Oh Mary?
No, I haven't.
Oh
I
my
need
God,
to
you have to
go.
go see it. You
I
have to go
know.
see it.
I know.
Jinx Monsoon is going to be Mary in a few weeks.
Oh, I gotta see that.
No, you have to. I'm gonna go back. It has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the end of the rapid fire round. Does anyone have any questions for Erica? Drop them in the chat now. Do not be shy.
Mhm.
In the meantime, while people are thinking of questions, Erica, anything you want to share with Sapph-Lit? Anything I didn't ask you that you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh. I'm introverted. I don't have things to share. That's the thing. I
I'm
can be I
introverted.
can be I can be funny answering questions, but if you're like, okay, now be say something funny on the spot, I'm like, no.
That's
I'm
not what I
okay, but I don't know. Hi everyone.
said.
Thank you for reading my book. It's good.
It is really
It's
good.
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's great. Um, so fucking funny. Um, anyone questions? Come on. Let's be nice. There we go. Allie,
Oh,
do you have any recommendations for existentialist books? Love talking about existentialism in ethics classes and recently read The Stranger and loved.
okay. Um, there's a good book, a nonfiction book called The Existentialist Cafe.
Mm.
I want to say this by Sarah Bakewell or something like that. But it's a
Yeah.
lovely like glimpse into the culture and the people that isn't as rigorous and sometimes boring as reading just a straight biography. But it's a really fun book about existentialism.
Hmm.
Um, and then honestly, almost any book can be read through an existentialist lens. But I really like John Cheever's short stories. I
Mm.
find that those stories can be the stakes are high and they're about unhappy people or unhappily married people and people who are suffering. He's great. And then Rachel Cusk is another author I just love. Like
Rachel.
her Outline trilogy
Yeah.
is life-changing. And I really recommend starting with the book called Outline. It's you're just dropped into this protagonist's life and she analyzes everything around her, everything. And it does feel existentialist in that sense.
I love.
Yeah.
Um, John Cheever. Okay, the stories of John Cheevers. There we go. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, more.
I'm
Wow,
putting them all in the chat for everyone.
cool.
Okay, Christina asks, very randomly specific, but when Jane is mentioning dog walkers in Long Meadow calling out ridiculous names, do you recall where you chose the names Cashew to be one of the names? Because my housemate's dog is actually named Cashew.
I do know a dog named Cashew. It's a maybe it's your housemate's dog. It's a tiny gray Pomeranian. I think it lives near Vanderbilt because that's where I run into it.
Oh my God, that's so funny. There are so many ridiculous dog names at the park where we take. So my dog is named Toast, which
Yeah.
I understand is a ridiculous name. But there's like edamame.
Yeah.
There's a dog named Taco.
Yep.
There's oh my God, I'm like now blanking on all of the most insane dog names. People love food names
Yes.
so much.
I have one.
Oh my
I don't
God.
have a dog, but I have a dog name.
Your dog's name is Honey Butter. That's so
That's
cute, Sarah.
very cute.
What's your dog name?
Bikini.
Bikini. That is so good.
Yeah.
Have you- My other friend's dog is named Quinoa. Oh my God.
Oh wow.
Ian, my partner and I want to name my next dog Butter because then we have toast and butter, and I
It's so
want it to
cute.
be like a long-haired cream, like blonde dachshund,
Perfect.
so that it literally looks like a stick of butter. But he wants to get like a crusty little ch like apple-headed Chihuahua and name it Patina, like like a patina on like a metal. And I just think that's adorable. But
Yeah.
oh, knew a dog named Pickles. It's incredible. Love it. Any other questions for Erica or any other dog names that you guys want to shout out? Anyone? Going
People are
once?
like me. I don't ask questions. I've been to so many book events. I've never asked a question.
I fear I am a question asker. I fear
Good. We
I
need you. This
yeah,
world needs you.
because I mean I am an introvert, but like in the sense where I love one-on-one. I love like I'm not scared to like make a fool of myself or like have like eyes on me. So like putting my hand up in a room full of people and asking a question doesn't scare me. Crowds, subways, um, Times Square, I'm just like I'd rather die personally. Anywho, Erica, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone, if you haven't read Work Nights yet, I don't know what you're doing here. Get a copy and yeah, fall in love with Jane the same way I did. And happy Pride.
Yay.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Jay.
Alrighty. Bye, everyone.